We've got plenty of information here for you, the upcoming weather trends and the longer range outlooks for the first 10 days of December 2013. Looks as though we're going to start out fairly quiet, but it's going to become more and more active as we get on through the period, and the potential for some significant weather as we get on toward the next weekend and into the early parts of the following week. So plenty here to take a look at as we initially take a look at the Climate Prediction Center maps for the expected precipitation, and in this case the temperature outlook. We've got both of them for you. This map indicates well below normal temperatures expected across the northern third of the country, especially the west, but also that cold air settling in across the Great Lakes area and further down into the plains, and a very good likelihood of below normal temperatures for the first several days of December, especially as we get toward the end of next week and the upcoming weekend. Temperatures above normal expected along the coastal areas in the southeast. That's been pretty much the trend so far, and it looks as though that's going to continue to some extent here for the first part of December, but gradually this colder air that's pressing in is going to start taking over, and we will see temperatures chilling down even into the coastal areas as we get toward the middle of the month. Here's a precipitation outlook for the December 5th through 11th period. Once we get by this quiet time here, the first few days of December, things are going to start to pick up, and we are looking for above normal precipitation through the Ohio Valley, a good part of the south, and even the tendency for that along the coastal areas as we watch a couple of storm systems get ready to get fired up and begin to move in that direction. We will see some high pressure that'll be moving off the east coast also, and that'll be pushing some moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico. So with a wide open Gulf and plenty of moisture streaming northward, we do expect to see the weather start to develop as we get toward Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the upcoming weekend. This next series of maps shows the cold air, illustrating it coming on down from Canada. This first map is a projection for Sunday morning, and over the course of the next couple of days, as we look at these maps, we'll see the blue area, which is the cold air, the below freezing conditions that will be pushing southward, coming in through the Great Lakes at first, and eventually getting down into the Ohio Valley and the Central Plains area, and starting to affect the Northeast a little bit too. We start to see it pushing into areas, the northern half of Maine, and coming into the northern portions of New York State as well. And by the time we get to Tuesday morning, again, we start to see that colder air pushing further southward. You can see over on the East Coast where it starts to moderate a little bit, and that cold air gets pushed back to the west a little bit and further south. That's in conjunction with that map that we were looking at earlier with the moderating temperatures along the coastal areas. But a good part of the country still well below normal and very sub-freezing conditions as we get toward the middle of the week. The next series of maps coming up, this one starts out on Wednesday morning, and we're going to look at a couple of weather systems that we expect to be developing at that time. In this map right now, we see a high pressure ridge covering the eastern portion of the country from way up in Canada down across New York State and all the way down toward Georgia and Florida. And back to the west of that, a couple of storm systems that are developing, one off to the north of the Lake Superior area in Minnesota, and another one further south down across Texas. So we keep an eye on both of those because they will affect the mid portion of the country and head eastward, and a lot of the areas will be seeing some snow developing from these. We'll follow the sequence of maps now. This takes us to Thursday morning, and you can see further development of wet weather and a storm system down in the southern portion of the country, just north of the Gulf of Mexico, and that moisture flowing northward into the Ohio Valley, and also portions of the Great Lakes area seeing some lighter snow with a little trough of low pressure that'll be coming through and approaching the area as well. And as these maps continue to sequence on into Friday morning, a little more concentration of precipitation through the Great Lakes and a good bit of wet weather down to the southern areas along the Gulf. That's going to continue to move to the east and the northeast. And here we are on Saturday morning, the 7th of December, next weekend, and we can see a big storm system developing down along the southeast that threatens to move up along the coastal area. Hitting with that cold air should bring a fair amount of snow, or at least that potential, in the forecast in the days ahead. So recapping, the first few days of December are fairly quiet compared to what's coming up. We will have been through another cold snap here over the holiday weekend, and we get into the first part of December and temperatures moderate a little bit. And then the colder air begins to come in from the north and begin to affect the country through the midweek period. And then this is later in the week into the weekend when we expect to see some storm systems developing, one to the north, one to the south. They could be moving along into the Ohio Valley and the eastern coastal areas eventually and bringing fair amounts of wet weather and likely some rather significant snows that we'll be tracking and keeping an eye on. Finally, just a reminder to keep an eye on this page at all times throughout the course of the season. We do update this page very often, and we also push out information through Twitter and as well as our Facebook page from time to time, but you'll receive all of your pertinent information for your local area right here through your web page, where we give you the alert information, any warning information in the box up at the top left, and you will also get the longer range outlook in the area right below, kind of what we're going through right now. You'll get a capsule summary of that on your web page. And further down, there's always live radar to see. There's the criteria when we do issue a warning or an alert for your area in the box up at the top. This explains what the conditions are expected to be over what period of time. And again, the live Twitter updates and Facebook page updates as well. And the video here in the left-hand corner that you'll be taking a look at now. So this is the forecast, the outlooks for the next 10 days or so, December 1st through 10th, 2013. Thanks for checking it out, and have a great day.